All right, I'm now recording. So I guess, Bob, the first question is rather open-ended. You've been fighting Tim Eyman for years. What do you think of today's ruling?
Sure. I mean, just to be clear, I don't view it as a personal fight with Tim Eyman. He's been violating our campaign finance laws and accepting illegal kickbacks for a long time, and that's not okay. And so it's a complete and utter victory. And the good news is he's being held accountable to the rule of law, and that's what matters here.
Can you explain how this case was different than? I know you made the case he was enriching himself from these campaigns. What's the difference from enriching himself or making a living?
Sure. Well, Tim Eyman had options here. He's been in trouble before with getting illegal kickbacks, right? That's a violation he had in the past. Well, guess what? He just kept doing it after a tearful confession that he'd never do it again. And what the difference is you can earn a salary doing work on behalf of initiative. But here's the deal. You've got to be transparent with the public about that. You've got to show how much you're making. What you can't do, and what Tim Eyman most certainly was doing, was accepting illegal kickbacks, accepting donations to a cause, and then illegally funneling those dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to yourself for personal purposes and not disclosing that to your donors or to the public. That's illegal. That's an illegal kickback. And that's precisely what he was doing again.
Do you think that he was running these campaigns to continue on with the life that he's been living, and that was the motivation for some of these campaigns? I mean, he ran for governor last year at a time when he owed the state money and was embroiled in this. Do you think that he was running campaigns to enrich himself to help pay off some of his debts?
Well, I guess I don't know exactly what his motivations were. What I can tell you is precisely what the judge held today, that over recent years, many years, he engaged in a pattern of deception with the public and enriched himself with illegal kickbacks. It's really as simple as that. And that's not okay. It's not how our system works. And so it's worth pointing out the judge determined his violations were egregious and they were intentional. He knew what he was doing and he did it anyway. And that's what I found so frustrating about this case is he just seemed not to care. He thought the rules did not apply to him and he thought he'd get away with it. But the good news is today, after a long court battle, he lost completely.
What is the what's the idea behind the number, the 2.6 million? You had sought a number triple that. The judge, if there was one minor victory for Mr. Eyman today, it was the fact that the judge didn't agree to that tripling of the fine. What was the idea behind that number that you sought?
Well, to be clear, Tim Eyman engaged in so many violations of campaign finance laws that he literally faced millions of dollars in penalties. We tried to arrive at a number that we thought was appropriate for accountability, but didn't spike the football too much. We could have asked for millions more, as the judge pointed out. In fact, the judge accepted our number of about 2.6 million as essentially the baseline. We then said because he acted intentionally, the law allows for the judge to triple a penalty if someone does things intentionally. The judge found that Tim Eyman acted intentionally. He knew what he was doing. He did it anyway. He went through all the factors and agreed with them, but he said he wasn't going to triple the penalty, frankly, because he thought that'd just be too much. That's the judge's call, and we certainly accept that. We think $2.6 million, which is far exceeds what any individual has ever paid in Washington State. It's a record-setting penalty, certainly is sufficient for accountability. In addition, as the judge pointed out, we can seek our costs and fees for having to bring this case against Tim Eyman, and we will most certainly be doing that. And he'll be paying quite a bit more to cover the taxpayers' costs and fees for having to bring this case in the first place.
What about the argument that he's made that this is the Attorney General's office trying to stop the initiative process, trying to stop him from running initiatives?
The good news for Tim Eyman is nothing stops him from conceiving of initiative, campaigning for one. That's part of what he can do. I understand that Tim Eyman wants to make this all about me. He wants to personalize it. He calls me fascist Fergie, right? I get that. My job, Chris, just put my head down with my team and follow the law and frankly ignore all the rhetoric that comes from Tim Eyman and just focus on the facts. And the good news is that's what judges do. They ignore the rhetoric and they focus on the facts. And the judge even said, I have no ill will to you, Mr. Eyman, but you got to follow the law and you've not been doing it. And that's what our system of justice is frankly all about. So for me, it's not personal. I don't take any personal joy from this, but it's an important victory for transparency in our elections. That's for sure.
It prevents him from handling any money, finances involved with initiatives in the future, correct?
That's exactly right. In fact, because of a previous violation, he was told he could no longer be a treasurer for a campaign because he was getting kickbacks in the past. Well, that clearly did not deter him from creating this complicated scheme, the judge called it, to get kickbacks again. So this time we went to the judge and said, he can't be handling the money at all, judge. And the judge granted that request, which we think is appropriate. Look, Tim Eyman can engage in the political process. He can conceive of initiatives. He can advocate for them. That's our process. Whether I agree with them or not is irrelevant. What he cannot do, and the judge emphasized, is ignore the law and personally profit and accept illegal kickbacks and not tell the public. That part's not okay.
So we have not heard from Tim Eyman yet, as we're talking right now.
I'm surprised.
But do you expect him to appeal? Do you expect him to seek higher court on this?
That's his call to make. I mean, all I can say, Chris, is if he does, he's going to lose. I mean, this has been a long battle. It's worth emphasizing. He's been in contempt of court for months in this case. He's had to pay thousands and thousands of dollars of contempt fines because he would not turn over bank records. We finally got them, but he obstructed our investigation, and all he did was delay the day of reckoning that finally arrived for Tim Eyman in court today.
What if he decides he doesn't have the money, declares bankruptcy like he has in the past, and doesn't pay up? What happens in that case?
Well, I mean, we'll see what comes next, right? But our intention is to collect the costs and fees that we incurred for having to bring this case against Tim Eyman, who lied, who cheated, who obstructed our investigation, who was in contempt of court month after month after month. I mean, he really, say he thumbed his nose at the judicial system, and my team would be a nice way of putting it. And there's a cost for that. And that day has arrived for him.